Now, we were talking earlier about fuel stations running dry. We'll see if we can get a view from the Automobile Association and see how widespread the shortages are. And of course, beyond fuel, concerns that people won't be able to get to work, of course. And then also for those buying on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis, trying to get foodstuffs that are becoming rare in some places. Okay, we do have Layton Beard from the AA with us. Layton, thank you for joining us. Do you have any idea of how many fuel stations are running dry?
Hi, good evening, Francis. I don't, and I think at this stage there'd be very few people who actually have a definitive answer to that question. We have received sporadic reports throughout the day of fuel stations running dry in certain areas, not many. We've also heard of fuel stations that are rationing their fuel sales, but we haven't really heard of large-scale fuel shortages in either Gauteng or KwaZulu-Natal just yet. And the last thing that I think the AA would like to do is to scaremonger people into panic buying. We certainly haven't heard that fuel is running dry at every station, either in KwaZulu-Natal or Gauteng. But I think the situation, Francis, needs to be put into perspective, and that is that obviously the N3 from Sadara to Heidelberg, which is around 430 km long, is still closed off to traffic. And that will most certainly impact on supply. And the Durban Harbour, Durban Port is also not functioning. So both of those factors is going to put some pressure on supply. But again, I think it's a question of we need to get a more definitive answer as we go forward.
All right, and when you say the impact of the Durban port, if the N3 is not open all the time, those supplies can't come to Gauteng and other provinces, so that has an impact. But how much fuel, I don't know if you can answer this, Layton, how much fuel is coming in from different sources in the country versus how much fuel is coming in sort of from that one source, which means the impact will be bigger if a lot of it is coming through Durban?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge percentage of it that is obviously coming through Durban, Francis, and that will most certainly impact on supply, in the northern provinces. So it is going to have an impact. But again, we have to look at how long it's going to take for the industry to get those supplies flowing freely once those roads are open and once the port is open again. One would imagine that it wouldn't take that long, but it's all dependent on how the situation plays out in KwaZulu-Natal over the next couple of days and whether that road is open, whether the port is open again. So there are a lot of variables. But again, the reports that we've received have been very sporadic. We haven't heard, as I said earlier, of large-scale stations running out of fuel and shortages of supplies just yet. And I think that we need to wait and see, in the next day or so, exactly what the impact is going to be, because at this stage, nobody's really done an impact assessment in terms of how fuel has been impacted. I think from our perspective, what we are saying to people is don't panic. We understand that there are going to be shortages, but let's establish the facts first. And unfortunately, at this stage, Francis, I don't have all those facts, which is why I'm deferring to say let's wait a couple of days just to see how it plays out.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Good news, I guess, that you're not hearing of massive, large-scale shortages, and the message there, don't panic and panic buy and fill up and create problems for everybody.